So should flute players smile when they're playing to form their embouchure? If you've taken lessons before, or if you haven't, this may be something that you've heard in the past. It's possible that your band director told you, or maybe you saw it in a method book or a worksheet, or maybe you've just kind of heard it somewhere and thought maybe that was something that you should try. Let's talk about that though. So the short answer is no, but let's talk about why. So if you think about what your embouchure would look like if you make a big smile, the corners are pulled back and your lips are super flat. Now your embouchure is the collection of muscles that form your what you end up playing with, right? And so if it's pulled back, think about the sound that I will get. It's going to be non-ideal for pretty much every register of the flute. Now, the tricky thing is there's not going to be a one-size-fits-all embouchure for anybody because our face structure is different. Everyone's is different. And so everyone's embouchure is going to be slightly different. But the general advice of the smile embouchure, in my experience, makes the embouchure a little bit too tight. And we're not able to use our lips and our muscles here to adjust the airflow to optimize our tone in every single register. So we really need to think about what the air is doing. What direction is it moving in? So if I do use a smile embouchure, yeah, I can't even get a low note right now with that smile embouchure. So the air, the direction of the air is not appropriate for any of those registers. So generally speaking, and I have other videos about this, the middle register, the air goes slightly over the lip plate and the embouchure hole. Part goes in, part of the air goes in, part of it goes over. For the low notes, the embouchure has to direct more of the air into the tube. And I do that with my top lip. If I'm making a smile embouchure, my top lip can't move very much. And that's where I get that really thin low register that doesn't really speak. So I need this top lip, point that air down. And then for the upper notes, the air needs to go a little bit more across than it does for the middle register. So again, if I've got a tight smile embouchure, I'm really getting more air sound than I'm actually getting tone sound. So I get a thinner tone, I get less flexibility, I get notes that don't really speak in any of the registers. There's going to be problems later playing with any kind of dynamic contrast if you are able to get notes out. And then the upper register is just really going to be sort of a disaster if your embouchure is inflexible to the point that it's in a smile. So bottom line, instead of thinking that your embouchure has to be a certain way, think about what your embouchure is trying to do. So it's trying to direct the air appropriately depending on what register you're playing in, and try to set it up that way, set yourself up for success depending on what register you're playing in, and setting yourself up for the flexibility to be able to move from one register to the other. So instead of getting hung up on what things are supposed to look like, instead think about function and go from there. All right, hopefully this helps. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you have any other questions, and happy flute playing.